Folks, hope you had a great 4th of July. We have an action-packed report for you today. Before I get into the Dutch farmer protests in the Netherlands, I saw this early morning report that Georgia police are investigating an explosion at the Georgia Guidestones. According to this report, the preliminary information indicates that unknown individuals detonated an explosive device at around 4 a.m. on Wednesday. Elbert County Sheriff's Office personnel responded to discover the explosion destroyed a large portion of the structure. So the Georgia Guidestones, I covered this in a video years ago. The structure that said maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature has been vandalized and partially exploded. Pretty crazy. Now let's get to these protests in Netherlands. They're blocking the entrance to supermarket warehouses. The police are shooting at the tractors at night. It's getting pretty crazy. What's going on? Here's the short explanation. So farmers in the Netherlands have been protesting and it's not getting much coverage. So first of all, why are they protesting? They're upset with quote unquote environmental rules where their government restrictions would require farmers to use less fertilizers and reduce their livestock numbers, which could force some farmers to shut down. The Dutch government wants to reduce emissions of nitrogen oxide and ammonia, which are produced by livestock, by 2030. Cuts could reach 70% in some areas under the plans. Interesting agenda the government has. So politicians that couldn't farm or feed you to save their lives are making crazy restrictive rules to stop farmers who do feed you from making a living and doing their job. Hey kids, we're gonna save the environment. Just follow us. The same corrupt people who, lie to you about everything and try to steal your money. Yeah, this will really fight the climate if we just destroy farms. Do people really not get it yet? And after these stories, I want to talk about how the left is literally imploding on itself. There's zero chance that what they're doing is sustainable. I'll highlight stories from Betty Midler, the psychotic former actress who is getting herself in trouble because she's not quote unquote woke enough for the woke crowd. We'll talk about that in depth later. It's going to be a wild one. Hope you enjoy the show. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hope you guys stay tuned towards the end because I want to talk about some very interesting social political, but I guess socio-political stuff. But let's start with the Georgia Guidestone story, and then we'll get to the Dutch farmer protest, which is fascinating. So apparently the Georgia Guidestones, for those who don't know, I did a video about it years ago in 2020, and I actually reshared the video last week because I wasn't working on 4th of July weekend. I know it's a pretty viral story. One of the things in the Georgia Guidestone, so it's this massive Stonehenge sort of like thing in Georgia that some alleged millionaire or billionaire commissioned. No one really knows who did it. It's a mystery, and it's got all these weird rules like keep humanity under 500 million people, which would mean, I don't know, billions of people would have to just be erased from the earth in order to keep to that plan that the Georgia Guidestones has. It's very bizarre. There's a time capsule hidden somewhere. Watch my video on it if you want to learn more about it. But apparently someone decided to go there with an explosive device at 4 a.m. and destroy part of it. I don't condone that. I mean, not that I have any say. It's not my stone. I don't live in Georgia, but you get what I'm saying. I don't promote any sort of like arson, violence, explosion, stuff like that. I don't understand why someone would do that. In general, I would say I like the fact that it's there just to point to, because they say it's a conspiracy theory. Nobody thinks like that. That's a conspiracy. It's like someone clearly thinks that there should be less people on Earth because they built a whole stone to promote their ideology. But anyway, that happened. Pretty fascinating. You could look into it. The Elbert County police are trying to figure out who did it. And overall, I guess people have been joking about it for a long time. Anytime you look at a Georgia Guidestone video on YouTube, everyone's like, oh man, this is terrible. But someone actually decided to go with an explosive. That being said, before I move to the Dutch farmer story, I do want to say there is a time capsule hidden under the Georgia Guidestone. I'm not condoning any sort of explosions, illegal activity at all. I don't do that. I don't condone it. I don't promote it. It is just weird, though, that somebody hid a time capsule. They're like, here's this crazy, weird, stone structure that says less than 500 million people should be on Earth. And there's a hidden time capsule. But yeah, just leave. It's like eventually, it's just human curiosity. Somebody's going to want to like dig it up or get to the bottom of the time capsule, What else is it for? Why would you hide a time capsule in the ground if nobody could ever get to it? It's like, here's this hidden secret message, but yeah, don't do anything to it. It's like, I don't know, eventually like somebody's going to come with a shovel or something, try to find that, but just my 2 cents. I don't condone it. I'm just saying. That I want to talk about the Dutch farmer protest. So I've been kind of busy the last 5 days, taking a semi-break, enjoying my 4th of July weekend. Appreciate you guys. I came back and I saw a lot of videos of these Dutch farmers. They're in the streets by the thousands. They're blocking supermarket, places where supermarkets stock up on goods. And I was trying to figure it out. I was like, why are they so upset? What's going on? So the Dutch government has this new plan. They want to reduce emissions of certain things. I had it at the beginning of the video, and a lot of farmers would go out of business. A lot of them would have to reduce their livestock. It's and I'm not saying COVID is climate change, because obviously that's not true, but the COVID narrative and the COVID agenda and the climate change agenda, you could almost put a Venn diagram, because it's like, oh, there's this virus, and this virus is here and it's really bad for sure. Yeah, nobody wants to get sick. So you shut your business down. You keep capacity under 50%, but we'll keep moving as normal. It's like politicians, obviously they didn't go in, but I don't know that they lost a paycheck. You had Target, Amazon, working at full capacity. What did they call it? What's the name of the worker? Like an essential worker. You're an essential worker. You can open up, but you're not an essential worker. You have to lose your business. So it's these weird new rules where they're like, because there's a virus, because there's a sickness, now we're going to restructure society, force mask the children, lock you down, make people fatter, shut beaches down. And then you're a conspiracy theorist if you disagree with it. It's like, I'm not saying people can't get sick, okay? However, I don't think making children fatter and putting cereal commercials on television every day is the way to make people healthy. This is healthcare in modern society. This is how dumb people are. Healthcare to most people doesn't mean diet, exercise, fitness, mental health, going for walks, getting sunlight. Healthcare in the traditional left-wing sense means abortions, get your abortion, get your vaccine, pop pills, normalize obesity. Now it's hate speech. You can't say that it's not healthy to be bigger, but you can lock somebody in their house for 3 weeks because that's totally okay because we're quarantining the healthy. It's like we literally live in an upside down world. I'm not saying you should shame-base people what they look like. I'm not that type of person, but I'm like, if you can shut down a beach, if you could fill a skate park with sand, if you can bankrupt 100,000 restaurants, but I'm not allowed to talk about the science behind obesity, it's getting a little bit weird. But that's modern day healthcare. It's like, get your abortion, get fat, pop as many pills as possible, and don't misgender me. That's the modern healthcare. I forgot what I was even talking about because I got lost. But in general, it's like with the farmer protests and the climate change, there's this huge thing. It's like, because of this, we need to do this, and they just satisfy all their agenda. Because there's a virus, you need to shut down. We're going to make people fatter, but that's okay because that's part of our healthcare. Abortions and obesity. It's disgusting. But I'm just saying, it's like that abortions is healthcare, but not letting me go to my gym. That, right? Something's a little bit odd there, just being honest. With that being said, with the farmers protest, they're like, oh yeah, we got to cut emissions. So we're just going to destroy farms. It's like, yeah, that'll really save the planet if, Justin Trudeau, Joe Biden, AOC, Elizabeth Warren. I was joking on my last live stream. I was like, it's a dumber conspiracy theory than QAnon, in my opinion, to be like, yeah, Joe Biden, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Justin Trudeau, Elizabeth Warren, Macron, and the Netherlands liberals, they're going to save the world, right? They're like superheroes, right? They're going to save the world from the climate change. Okay, fascinating. I'm not saying the climate doesn't change. I'm just saying those people, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. Oh, we're going to ban you from social media for questioning us. I'm not saying people can't get sick during COVID. I'm just saying lockdowns and quarantines and just force injecting little kids. I don't know that that's my number one way to block root level health, but you can't say it. And it's the same with climate change. It's like, I'm not saying the climate doesn't change and we can't do better environmentalism in the world. Clearly we can. But does that mean bankrupting farmers and destroying farms in the Netherlands is the way to beat the climate? Does the Netherlands really have that much pull in the world? Is that where we're at now? Yeah, it's not China, it's not America, it's not India, it's not Africa, it's not these countries that produce thousands of times more than it's the Netherlands farmers. I mean, the only way to fight the climate change is to just destroy farmers in Netherlands. It's like, it's so obviously stupid. But people are so brainwashed into nihilism and self-hatred and all this phony activism that they don't even realize what's going on. So long story short, the farmers in Netherlands are like, yeah, no, we're not going to destroy our farms and reduce our livestock by 70% or whatever you want, by 2030. Oh, yeah. There's an agenda for 2030, but don't talk about Agenda 2030, even though there's like documents and stuff. It's a conspiracy theory that they just openly write about and post on their official websites that if you talk about and read, you're a lunatic. But anyway, it's like just such a joke. So, God bless the farmers of Netherlands. You have these politicians in Netherlands and America and Canada, people that can't grow food, people that couldn't feed you to save their lives. Some of the least impressive people in society are in politics. And they're like, anomaly, you should run for politics. You should run for politics. People that are good at stuff and decent people, they don't want to run for politics because they know what an evil, demonic, like hellhole it is. But in general, it's like people that couldn't farm to save their lives are making all these rules to destroy farms. It's, and people allow it because they're like, we're going to defeat the climate change with AOC if we just starve ourselves. It's like, we're going to beat the virus by force masking little kids. It's like, yeah, the data everywhere in the world shows that no matter how much you force mask and force vaccinate, the virus doesn't seem to be going anywhere. That's the data everywhere. Africa, they're doing fine without all this, but whatever. Okay, if you want to do it for their, it's just so obviously stupid. I'm fascinated. My last story is going to really kind of bring it all together, but it's like, how much further can people really go with this stuff? Like, you're going to put a cloth over your face for 3 years and try to destroy farms in order to save the health and of the planet and the world. It's as backwards as Michael Moore, and I'm not going to shame this guy based on his, plum-like physique. Michael Moore, in my opinion, is I look at Michael Moore and I look at Brad Pitt, and I just can't even tell the difference. I'm like, why are there two Brad Pitts there? So I'm not going to say anything about his physical, status, Michael Moore, because to me, he looks like Usain Bolt. When I see Michael Moore walk in in line, I'm like, Usain Bolt, I go up to him, I'm like, dude, I'm a huge fan, dude. I love the Olympics. I love how fast you are. And he's like, dude, I'm not Usain Bolt. I'm, Michael Moore. And I'm like, what? You're Michael Moore? I would have never guessed. I thought you were Usain Bolt. I don't even see race. That's the thing. You're white or whatever you are. You thought you were black because I don't even see race. I don't even see gender. Who are you? Are you, are you Caitlyn Jenner? I can't tell anymore. So, no disrespect to Michael Moore because he is Usain Bolt. He is, he is Brad Pitt. He is Dr. Fauci. Michael Moore could be a woman. I don't even want to dead name his gendered pronouns. So, I'm not here to shame Michael Moore, but this is like modern day activism. You have Michael Moore crying about America, all the time. It's like, bro, Gandhi once said to change the world, you got to change yourself. How are you going to save the world, bro, when you can't even save yourself? Activism starts within, Michael Moore. You would impress me. Show me that you love yourself, okay? Because I'm not convinced you do right now. And I love you, Michael Moore, so I want you to take better care of yourself, okay? Let's just leave it at that. I'm not trying to get banned in 33 countries here. But in general, like, that's modern day activism. It's like upside down world. It's people that can't take care of their own city talking about, Ron DeSantis. It's like, yeah, the only way to stop Ron DeSantis is Gavin Newsom. It's like, bro, apparently there's reports that he's in Montana, even though he's blocking state funds to Montana. It's like, oh, Montana, yeah, it's so bad. I want a vacation. Whatever. I'm so over it. But long story short, I think there's something going on, in my opinion. You have these politicians that spontaneously want to just destroy the farming industry. Gas is like sky high. They locked you down for a year. This is all for your health. This is for the climate. The only way to beat the climate is to starve Netherlands. It's just like, wake up, folks. I don't know what they're doing to the people, but I also do know what they're doing to people. It's like a lot of media manipulation. If you stare at a screen all day, it's just like, they're like, breaking news. January 6th is the resurrection, the insurrection of the resurrection of the insurrection. It's, Mel Gibson. It's the anti-Semitism. It's the racism. It's the far right. It's the white nationalists. It's the Latino supremacist right-wing Latino woman, the rise of the white Hispanics. It's like, Clarence Thomas is a bad man. He might as well be white. It's like, people are just like, oh, just like glued to the screen. It's like, the only way to fight the climate is to starve the Netherlands. The only way you can't dead name Elliot Page. Darn it. Yeah, Juno was a good movie, but you need to erase it from your memory because it might offend somebody. It's like, and that's the way we're going to save the world. It's like, we're going to starve if you guys keep this up. I'm just saying, I enjoy life. I got a water here. I don't want to starve. You know, can we find a different way to be environmentalists without starving Netherlands? No, we got to cut the emissions. We got to cut the livestock and just eat. We got to be shaped like Bill Gates. Bill Gates, you know, philanthropist, may or may not be shaped like the blueberry girl from the Willy Wonka movie. And that's just an observation. There's no shaming in that because I found, in my opinion, the blueberry girl was, you know, when I was younger, I would look at her and I was like, wow, I didn't even know you could be that big and that beautiful. So I'm not shaming. I'm just saying, wake up, folks. The last story of the day, I don't know how I'm going to I don't know how I'm going to say this and report on this without getting banned in 55 countries, but I'm going to attempt to do it. Wish me luck. Please, Jesus. Save me from the censors. All right, so Betty Midler said, "Women of the world, we're being stripped of our rights over our bodies, our lives, and even our name. They don't call us women anymore. They call us birthing people or menstruators, and even people with vaginas. Don't let them erase you. Every human on earth owes you." So Betty Midler pissed off a lot of left-wingers with that. We'll talk about it. And this is like I guess Jordan Peterson got banned or something for saying something about Elliot Page. This is BuzzFeed News. Elliot Page's dead name appeared as a trending topic on Twitter, violating the site's own policy on hateful conduct. In a statement to BuzzFeed News, a Twitter spokesperson said it was a mistake and it has been removed. So I guess Elliot Page's old name is her dead name, and it can't trend on Twitter because it's a violation. I'm going to slow it down because my head is just spinning trying to pretend I'm Betty Midler, you know, like that witch from the movie. She's like, you know, she was like a witch. I'm like, whoa. I'm just like all the left-wing stuff. It's like they're like running. It's like Michael Moore running in circles around my head with Usain Bolt. It's like, well, don't say my dead name. And I'm like, I don't even know what that means. I didn't even know what a dead name was yesterday. I'm like, Deadmau5, the EDM DJ? They're like, no, dead name. I'm like, is that a new EDM act? Because it sucks. This music sucks. They're like, dude, it's not an EDM DJ. It's like a term. It's a pronoun term. It's like, cool story, dude. So on the face of it, I'll just say this. I don't really trip over this stuff. It doesn't bother me per se because I don't live in this reality. I don't even see it. I like all of this stuff. A lot of it just like exists on the internet, and people, they're just like, look at me, give me attention, and you're like, cool, you know, have a good day. So I would say if you're like a parent, it's your duty to protect your children from these psychotic predators in some case. You know, a lot of these people are predators and they're psychopaths and they're trying to, you know, infiltrate your child's mind. So as a parent, yes, it is your job to protect your kid, I think, and watch what these psychos are doing. As a person, I think it's your duty to protect yourself. But me, I'm just speaking from my own personal experience. I don't live in this world. I just don't. I lived in LA for 8 years, and I didn't even live in that world even when I lived in LA. I don't see this stuff. I don't know why. Maybe it's because of how I treat others, and it's just like, you know, you get what you put out. I don't see it. I believe one barista that I go to may or may not be transgender. I'm not trying to be rude. Maybe she's, maybe it's not a transgender. I don't know. Like, this is so funny in my opinion. It's like you're trying to be polite, but it's also like rude to call a woman a transgender. You're like, are you a transgender? Like, I'm just a normal woman. I'm like, geez, I'm sorry. I'm trying to be polite, you know? But I'm like, I may or may not have a transgender barista at one place I go to. And guess what? None of this even exists there because I don't even talk pronouns. It's just like, can I have a coffee? Sure. What would you like? I'll take, you know, black. You know, do you want any sugar in it? No, I'm good. Okay, thank you. I appreciate you. I don't use pronouns, so it's not even like, it's not even when I run into people that may or may not be transgender, it's not even a thing in my world. I don't know where this exists besides on BuzzFeed News and Elliot Page's Twitter, whatever. You know, it's like, so it doesn't actually bother me. I'm not trying to like freak people out. In my real world, I don't see it. I see it on Twitter. I see it on the television. It doesn't exist to me. It doesn't bother me. I would be bothered if they were teaching like little kids that and one of them was my kid. So I understand like parents that are pissed off. But for me, it doesn't exist. Long story short, So now that we get to that, let's get to the Betty Midler situation, because she's trying to combine two different things, and she's really pissing off left-wingers. She's like, women of the world, we're being stripped of our bodily rights, which is like, I want to get abortion. First of all, there's a psyop with I just thought of this last night, reproductive rights. I want the rights to reproduce. I need reproductive rights. You have the rights to reproduce. It's actually you that's trying to take away your own rights to reproduce. No man in the right wing is trying to take away your rights to reproduce. Actually, conservative and Christian men want you to reproduce. It's you that wants to not reproduce. So it's like every word they have is a psyop. Google the word vaccine. The word vaccine in many cases means, you create immunity. So according to the vaccine definition, would the COVID vaccine even be a vaccine if it doesn't provide immunity? I'm not going to answer that question because I don't want to get banned off these commie networks. But in general, it's like nothing means anything anymore. A vaccine's not a vaccine. A man's not a man. A woman's not a woman. Everything's offensive. It's like, so Betty Midler is trying to basically just be like, and reproductive rights. Oh, we need the rights to reproductive. You have them. You're trying to rip them away. But whatever, and you could still move to California and abort all the fetuses you want. Disgusting, but whatever. Anyway, Betty Midler's like, we're losing our rights. They're not calling us women. They don't even want to name us. They're calling us birthing person. And all these left-wing activists are freaking out at Betty Midler because they're like, no, don't fall for the anti-trans, propaganda, Betty. Birthing person's a good thing. And she actually woke up to the fact that they are actually trying to erase women, which is completely true. They're trying to erase women's sports, women as an identity. I'm a man, I'm a woman. These are women's rights. How could you have women's rights if there are no women? They are erasing women. But Betty Midler, you're not supposed to realize that. In order to be, I'm trying to help Betty Midler because I like the movie where she's a witch. She's like, and when I was young, I was like, whoa, scary looking lady there. So I support her actress career. But in general, it's like, Betty, if you want to be left wing, you have to just lie. You can't figure out things, because once you start to figure out things, Betty, or Bet, or however you say your name, I don't know. I wasn't born 1913. No offense. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being old. I'm just saying people just don't name their kids Bet anymore. I don't know why. But anyway, you get what I'm saying? It's like you can't play the fence and be half right and half wrong, because they're going to get mad when you're right. So you have to just play dumb. That's the only way to be left wing. You have to play stupid. You have to be politically correct, which means just lie. So if Betty Midler, Patrice Midler, I don't know what her name is, Patrice Midler, if you want to figure out that the left wing is erasing women by not even calling women women, you're going to piss off your own side. So you're going to have to pick a side. Either you tell the truth and you're like, oh, wow, I realized I was a psychopath for 10 years, or you just have to play dumb. And that's really what it is. With the dead naming of Elliot Page, I'm going to try to say this without getting banned off everything, because it's so stupid that I don't even want to talk about it. But so Elliot Page used to be a female actress, but now is a male actress, right? This is the story. And, there's movies where Elliot Page was Ellen Page. But I guess that name that used to exist doesn't exist anymore. It's called a dead name. I'm not even being sarcastic right now. I actually didn't even know this 2 days ago. I don't pay attention enough to this stuff or care about this stuff enough to I'm not a mean person, but it's I'm not going to spend my whole life, I'm not a liberal arts professor studying the difference between gender queer and polyqueer. I have a PhD. I spent 8 years, debating what the difference between gender queer. I don't care. Do what you want to do. Just stop being so weird about it. But anyway, I guess the old name was trending on Twitter, and Twitter's like, whoa, that's a hate speech violation against us. They looked in the mirror and they're like, we committed a violation against ourselves. So they deleted the trending topic. I just genuinely don't understand how this stuff works, and it's not going to work. It's just not going to work. At a certain point, you guys are going to have to stop. Caitlyn Jenner was formerly known as Bruce Jenner, a male Olympian athlete who won a bunch of awards competing against men. That's history. I'm not being rude. I actually think Caitlyn Jenner, nice person. That's just real history. And in fact, Caitlyn Jenner actually doesn't care. Pretty nonchalant about that stuff, not super overly political correct, but it's that really happened. Now history might be a hate speech violation to historically talk about who Elliot Page was 5 years ago. That's hate speech. It would be like if people said, Anomaly, you made a song in 2012 about this. No, I didn't. You know you did. That's not who I am anymore. Okay, well, can I talk about it? No. It's a hate speech violation. Anomaly, didn't you make this song about Trump? Didn't you make a song about Bernie? Didn't you do this? It's like, yeah. I mean, if it's true, yeah, I did it. I either learned, grew up, I don't know, evolved, but is it illegal to talk about history? Is it illegal to talk about the Olympian formerly known as Bruce Jenner? Is it illegal to talk about Elliot Page's former name? You can't, it doesn't exist anymore. It's a dead name. I mean, what the hell do these people think they're doing? Where are you going with this? What, like, it's like so stupid. It's just like, you're gonna run out of room. I was reading about this cafe, queer-owned cafe. Aye, aye, Captain. Congratulations, queer-owned. Can I have a queer coffee and some Queerios, you know, with some extra whole milk, almond milk? It's like, cool, congrats. But anyway, apparently it closed down, and there's like disgruntled employees. Like, you know, it's like they're disgruntled because you're not woke enough. I remember woke used to mean like, oh, you know about Freemasons and Illuminati and New World Order. That's what woke used to mean. Oh, you know about the banking cartel. You're woke. Somehow they hijacked woke, and now woke means something else. It's like woke means you don't know all my pronouns, and you're like, no, I don't. I'm sorry, but I'll be friends with you. They're like, I don't want to be friends with a right-wing bigot. It's like, okay, I just want a coffee to go. Get over yourself. But it doesn't work. None of this stuff works. So here's the two options you have, and I'm going to tell people what I think will actually escalate this and get America back to somewhat normal. It's like either you just go along with this stuff and you know you're lying. Like Bette Midler now, she knows they're erasing women. They won't even call a woman a woman. Obviously, she knows that's wrong. Obviously, she's a woman. She believes in women's rights, women's empowerment, women's rights, and they're freaking out at her because she noticed that left-wingers are erasing women because she read a New York Times article that told her the truth. She's like, calm down, it was in New York Times. Like, we don't care about New York Times either. It's like, you can never be woke enough for the woke. So, you know, at a point, either you lie for the rest of your life and you just become a liar. You just have to play stupid. Like, you know, what is this? Is this water? No, this is, I don't know. This is moon juice. And you know it's not moon juice, but you're just like, I guess so. I don't want to get a hate speech violation. It's like, what's the point? You know, they live in an upside down world. And people say to me all the time, like these pseudo-intellectual dummy truthers that are like, I'm more honest than Anomaly. Like, oh, you're so smart. You're so special. Congratulations. Here, we'll give you a truther award. But they're like, why do you even talk about right and left wing? It's like, I understand both parties are corrupt, but there is ideology behind it. And it's not the same. It's like you could have one person be like, here's how you drink water out of a glass. You just drink the water. Yeah, they might be wrong about a few policies, but they get reality, you know? And then you have something called left wing where it's like, in order to drink the water, you just eat the glass and just spill the water on the floor. And they're like, yeah, that's what you do. And I'm supposed to just sit here and act like they're both exactly the same? They're not. Republican Party's corrupt. It's phony in most extents. But when it comes to the ideology driving right wing and left wing and where the Republicans are going versus the Democrats, there is a little difference socially. Socially, there's a massive difference, okay? One of them's telling you to drink water. The other one's telling you to eat the glass and spill the water on the floor. It's like Looney Tune world versus like a bunch of phonies who wear cowboy hats but just sell you out to like Israel and Ukraine. I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying it's like you should just like act like it's awesome, but I'm just saying there is a little bit of a difference of what's going on socially and psychologically of how they're teaching the kids stuff. But anyway, I don't know how long people are going to just pretend that this stuff is normal and cool. Here's my solution. I know I'm not just trying to complain about it. I genuinely think now the best way to deal with this is just troll along. And maybe this is not the right solution. I'm open to the idea that this is just a funny thought in my head. But, for example, with the NFL, Jack Del Rio said that the January 6th protests, like, he was like, what about, you know, the BLM riots for George Floyd? And they gave him a huge fine, right? Because he was right. He was accurately being like, Why were you okay with all of the destruction with the BLM rights? And they got mad at him. We could rally behind Jack Del Rio and say, oh my God, it's so wrong. You guys are too politically correct and we're going to protest because you guys are too much. Or I say, we just join them. Let's just act like them until they destroy themselves. Be like, no, I agree. No, Jack Del Rio was too much. In fact, everybody's too much. I think there should be a black transgender owning the teams. Like, forget about, coaching. Oh, you want a woman coach? That's not enough. I want a woman coaching every team. I don't want a single male owner. I don't even want a woman owner. I want a transgender, black, Muslim to own all 32 teams. And the reason that I think this might work even better is like left wingers will agree with it because they always want to push the limits. Like if I sat there and said, I disagree, they're like, you don't understand. But if I said, oh, you just want transgender referees, that's it? You need representation. You need to own. They're always giving black transgenders little things. They need to own the teams. And then they'll be like, you're right, and then they become their own worst enemy because they can't say no to themselves. So you know what I'm saying? You're not operating amongst people with logic where you're like, oh, that's, Jack Del Rio deserves the freedom to say that if he could say that. They don't operate in that world. Everything is like a victim Olympics where it's like, we have to bow down no matter how dumb it is. So just make it more dumb. Make it more foolish. Make it more backwards. I agree with Elliot Page. Yeah, no, actually, I think every Hollywood movie should have 15 transgenders in it, and anybody who ever says their old name is a bigot. Let's go that direction. Let's, destroy Juno. The whole movie needs to be imploded because Elliot Page was a woman then, and, that's messed up. Why not? Who cares about these people anymore? So I almost feel like in a weird way that'll work better because trying to tell the truth to them, they're not getting it and they're not willing to listen. So just let them spiral, just keep them away from your kids. Sadly, they own like everything except for MyPillow and Home Depot. I don't know exactly how that happened, but they own everything, which is troubling because at a certain point, we do need certain things to function in order to have a functional country, which they're trying very hard to destroy. But I genuinely almost think that the way to beat this is to just join it. Like, I want to show up to the WNBA. Well, Anomaly, you're not a woman. Yeah, but I identify as one. But you really aren't. What do you mean I'm really not? What does that mean? Because according to Matt Walsh's documentary, nobody knows what a woman is. So it's like, yeah, 3 years ago, being a transgender meant you were like literally trying to be a woman. Now, you don't have to do anything. You could just show up. So it's like, why not? Get thousands of biologically born men to show up to the WNBA. You know what I'm saying? And strap up your boots and play. Well, we don't want you to play. Well, you're going to have a lawsuit on your hand or this is going to be in the media. Why not? Get thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of men doing women's stuff and just say you're a woman. Why not? You don't have to change your body. You don't have to even want to. It's not about that. What is a woman? I don't know. 10 years ago, you ask like a cross-dresser or transgender, what's a woman? Well, a woman's this, a woman's more feminine, a woman has these features, and I want to look like a woman. That's why I'm cross-dressing and transgendering. It's like, okay, I might not agree or something, but I get what you're saying. Nowadays, it doesn't even mean anything. What's the point of transitioning from a man to a woman if a man or a woman doesn't mean anything? So, in a weird way, I feel like people should just joke and just play along with it until they just completely implode on themselves. Like, go to the queer cafe and order something like gayer than they have on the menu and call them a racist, and make a scene and call your local newspaper and just be like, yeah, can you believe this queer-owned cafe doesn't even have a polyamorous latte? They're like, what the hell is that? I'm like, exactly, you freaking homophobe. You're like, this is World War II Germany all over again. Why not? At this point, it's like, what else are you going to do? They don't want to listen. They're totally psychotic. They get mad at each other when you tell the truth. You can't historically talk about somebody who was somebody else 3 years ago. Not only can you not say that they're still that, but you can't even talk that it ever existed. The mere history is offensive to them. Reality is offensive to them. You breathing is offensive to them without cloth on their face. I don't know. I almost think it would be hilarious and more effective to just play along with it. Go call Apple and just be like, you're all gay haters. Like, why? I'm like, I don't know. Just because I feel that way. Well, why do you feel that way? Because I feel like something else. What are you? I don't know what I am, but the fact that you keep asking me what I am is really pissing me off. Let me speak to your manager. I want to, lawsuit. It's like, whatever, These people are going to implode on themselves. We might as well do them a favor and destroy all the things they're going to destroy in 5 years in like the next 3 months. This way we can rebuild it a lot faster. I don't know. I think it would actually work. I want to go to I'm just like, I'm too busy and I have a job, but like, I want to go to the WNBA. What's going to stop me? You're not a woman. Says who? Who says it? Well, you're not dressed like. Oh, that's what a woman means? You have to dress like. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. I didn't mean to. Oh, you're damn right. You're sorry. Oh, you called me sir? You better get. You better get your manager on the phone. Why not? I like they can't tell the truth. They're not allowed to tell the truth. If you call like a right-wing organization and you have a complaint, I mean, you can get away with certain stuff, but they're operating in semi-reality where they're like, we're not going to let you just implode our entire business. We have like morals. You call a left-winger, it's all based on upside-down world. So just play into it. I don't know, as a troll. Why not? How are they going to stop you? They can't stop. They're not allowed to tell the truth. Like, I'm allowed to be like, I believe in walls because walls keep my house together. They have to be like, walls are xenophobic and tear them all down. It's like, it's like that's their whole logic. So it's like, I believe in security. I think it's like, okay, then your whole, everything you're doing is not woke enough. Escalate it. And all the left-wing activists will be like, yeah, that's true. I'm like, yeah, what? Why allow... Why are there so many, white and Jewish men on CNN and black men? Don Lemon, Anderson Cooper, Brian Stelter. You know what I'm saying? It's a bunch of men. I want all of them replaced with women. Why not? Isn't there too many men? I don't care that they're gay. It's not enough. I want everyone on CNN to be a transgender woman with 4 different religions. And if they can't do that within a week, we're furious. We the left wingers are furious. I don't know. I think it could work. I'm just kind of floating it out there. Someone said anti-Semitism, but in the long run, Jewish people are not going to be saved because left-wingers don't look at Jewish people like, oh, you're this special race that's like a victim. They just look at them like, oh, you're a white woman or a white man. Unless you're like transgendered or something, you might have more victim. But I don't think in the long run, like, I don't think left-wing activists are looking at like Jewish NFL owners like, oh, they're Jewish, like they're a minority. I think they're like, oh, they're rich white men, they need to be replaced. It's like you could always go further. You could always take the card to the next level. So I feel like that will actually weirdly work. I saw just to make this stream more controversial, and then I'm going to get to comments. I saw someone said troll along. Why not? I don't know. It's funny, but I think it would work because they're not allowed to tell the truth. They're not allowed to say up is up and down is down. So if you just spin it, it's like a spinning ball. It's like just spin it further. And they're like, okay, sir, I'm sorry. I don't know. Whatever at this point. I saw that there's a bodega owner, I think it was in New York City. He defended himself, and now they put him in jail because in a lot of liberal cities, you're not allowed to defend yourself. They just want you to be robbed and stabbed and shot and have your house destroyed. And if you defend yourself, you're a bad person or whatever. So it spurred a big Twitter conversation. Most people are defending the bodega owner. I just want to say this. Obviously I believe in self-defense, but I've been to New York City. My friend used to live in Bed-Stuy, which is gentrified, which means you have chicks, you have like liberal rich chicks with yoga mats walking right next to gang violence, and they don't even see it. They're like, is my Instagram selfie good enough? That's what gentrification means. You just bring a bunch of white chicks into a shitty neighborhood, and they just take selfies with Instagram filters. But in general, I used to stay there, and when I went to the bodega, these people that live in this neighborhood are ruthless. Someone said Christ was a Jew. Guys, you're not getting the point. Nobody's Jew hating here. I'm making a joke about escalating the victim card further. Right-wingers love to play the victim. They're like, how dare you say, it's like, just get with the joke, okay? If you're such a fragile person that me joking that being a Jewish man is not a victim card enough, that we need to push it further, and you're crying anti-Semitism, Jesus was a Jew. I'm not preaching the Bible right now. I'm making fun of psychotic left-wing culture and saying it would be funny to escalate it further. It's like, get over yourself. People can't even stop playing the victim for 5 minutes in my stream. But anyway, in the bodega in New York City, people act crazy. Like, I've seen people get just threatened on a daily basis. Like, every time I walk into the bodega in New York City, they're like, I'm gonna kill this guy. Like, it's so bad there. I'm not even joking. I would rather, if you gave me 2 options, would you feel safer enlisting in the military or owning a bodega in a bad area of Brooklyn? I would rather join the military. I would feel safer in a military. A lot of military people just end up on a base and don't even get sent overseas. Like, I would not, it's a war zone. It's so bad, and people are so nasty to the bodega owners. A lot of them are Indian dudes, and they're just getting absolutely bullied on a daily basis by just psychotic, evil people. This is all I'm going to say. Seeing that, I don't care what race you are, what you are on the spectrum of who you think you are, how poor you are, how rich you are. How you treat people is not reflective of that. Sometimes you go to poor neighborhoods and they give you big candy bars, on Halloween, and rich neighborhoods give you nothing. Sometimes it's the people with less money that are even more gracious. Sometimes you find rich people that are garbage people. They treat people like garbage. So money is not a factor of how you treat people necessarily, right? There's no in fact, a lot of rich people are shittier than middle class people, in my opinion, because they get so, I guess, accustomed to the lifestyle that they just have to complain about stuff. It's like, oh my God, my latte was slightly wrong. It's like, who cares? Get over yourself. In these neighborhoods, it's not poverty. It's not poverty that's making these people psychotic and savage. And I mean the word savage. I'm not saying everybody's savage. It's savage in certain parts of Brooklyn and Queens where, like, the bodega owners are getting threatened on a daily basis. Like, all the time, every hour, somebody's coming in and threatening them. And then they defend themselves and end up in jail. And you see all these activists complaining about cops, complaining about Trump supporters. Complain about cops, I don't care. Complain about Trump supporters. But are you ever going to complain about the savage actions of people in these neighborhoods where they're literally threatening to kill their bodega owner down the street every day, all the time? Everybody knows it. Anybody that's not full of shit and fake knows, whether you're from there or you visited there, these bodegas are getting worked in inner cities. And nobody cares. They act like, oh, it's everyone else's fault. This is why it's so shitty there and why it's never going to get better. My parents would have been like, I don't care how poor you are. I don't care what you have. You need to act right. You're not going to treat that person that way. But in these cities, they almost justify it because, like, you have all these celebrities. Has any celebrity ever said, hey, guys, yeah, the cops are bad. Yeah, white people are bad. Well, this or that are bad. However, we need to act better ourselves, because in these neighborhoods, it's not okay just because the banker's bad or this man's bad or Trump's bad. It doesn't justify you treating your bodega like, he's a slave. They treat them like garbage. They treat them like they're going to kill them at any moment. And sometimes they literally try. It's that bad. I've only been to bodega. I mean, I've stayed in New York for a week. I went to this one bodega 4 times. Someone threatened to kill me in New York City just for standing there and ordering a sandwich. They threatened to kill the bodega like 3 times in 5 days. It's like, this guy must get a death threat every 2 hours, every day, all the time. It's literally like worse than a war zone at these bodegas. And no celebrity, no black celebrity, no activist, no racial activist, nobody wants to tell people that that's not the way to act, no matter how rich or poor you are, no matter what color you are. You don't treat people like that. You don't treat your community like that. I have a bodega store. Why would I treat no matter how bad I'm doing, why would I treat someone in my own neighborhood selling stuff that terribly? How is that going to help me? It's not. It's not going to help anyone. That's why those areas are not improving as rapidly as other places in some cases. So, this just shows, like, most people would be like, yeah, there's bad things in the world, but we also have to get our act together. But you hear all these celebrities and stuff, and they act like it's normal. It's cultural. It's like, whatever, it's not our fault. Yeah, that's cool. That's great. We're going to make a million songs about it and blame everybody else and act like it's normal. It's not normal. It's not cool. It's evil. So, part of it is the government, part of it is the media, part of it is, people taking advantage of everybody and different ethnic groups, for sure. Part of it is historical, but a lot of it is self-awareness, self-accountability, and just acknowledging that that's evil behavior. So that bodega store, this dude literally defended his life, and now he's in prison. And this is not abnormal in a bodega. It's not like a once-in-a-lifetime thing. These people get like, some of the most gangster people are bodega owners. You can't own a bodega unless you're a gangster. You got to deal with like thousands of death threats every year. Literally, it's like owning a store in like a bad part of Iraq where, you could get blown up. It's probably worse in some cases. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. Someone said Jesus was black. That's a good idea. Instead of listening to my stream, just argue in the comments about who Jesus was. Anomaly, Jesus was Jewish. Okay, what does that have to do? He was black. Okay, argue with the guy who thinks he's Jewish, and you could say he's black, and you guys could argue in the comments the whole stream, but I'm going to talk about this. But in general, I just wanted to say that, because it's just crazy how terribly people treat each other and their community, and that's part of it. You could blame others, you could blame the system for sure, but self-awareness, self-accountability. But you don't see anybody talking about like how that's not good and nobody wants to live around that. And then everything's racist all the time. It's everyone else's fault. It's like, okay, so you just treat everybody in your neighborhood like garbage, just threaten the bodega owner, and then everybody else has to like it. That's just great. Yeah, everybody in America wants to live nobody wants to live that way, Hipster chicks go there to go to NYU, and they think they're doing something, and then they end up on drugs and voting for Joe Biden. It's not like what they want to do. They just fall down the wrong path. Some of them get good jobs, and then they move out eventually. But it's like, I don't know. It just disgusts me that so many people are fighting so many different battles, but nobody wants to address that elephant in the room, that anybody that's lived there in these cities, any major city pretty much, in bad areas where it's not just a money issue. People got to act better, because acting that evil is going to get bad results. I don't care what race you are, how poor you are. You act that evil, not everybody acts that way, but a lot of people do, in their own communities. Like, it's not going to work over time or now, in my opinion. Someone said, Anomaly, is a bodega the same thing as a liquor store or convenience store? Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's just what they call convenience stores in New York. But I mean, it's a convenience store, it's a liquor store. I'm just saying, in terrible areas in inner cities, like, it's like a war zone. I've been there. I'm not exaggerating. It's like worse than people think, and these people put up with so much bullshit all the time, every day. It's one of the hardest jobs, in my opinion. Like, I've farmed. I've worked on a farm. People think farming's a hard job. Not even close. I would rather be on a farm with illegals, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh my God, that's so hard. No, owning a bodega or a convenience store in a high crime city where they threaten you every day and just steal shit, that's way harder, in my opinion. Someone said, honestly, I'm shocked at the ignorant responses. I'm not even reading the comments, but people are apparently just fighting with each other. Someone said, Anomaly, share the dangers of Botox. I might look like a Botox expert, but I know nothing about Botox, so I can't really tell you about it. So I'll look into it, but I can't do everything. I mean, if I get inspired to do that, but I think you guys look great all natural, but I'm definitely not a Botox aficionado on either side of the equation. So if you want to tell me why it's bad or something, or you want to make a video, that might be better. I'm going to read some. I like that I'm like the authority on that though. You're like, Anomaly, you can make a video on Botox. I'm like, maybe eventually, but not today. Someone said Buddha was Mexican. I feel like that's not true, but nowadays, whatever, Every time anyone says anything about Jewish, people are like, Jesus was Jewish. It's like, yeah, I get what you're saying, but like, I wasn't even saying anything bad about anything Jewish. Jesus was Jewish. You're like, okay, dude. George Washington was a white man. You're like, okay, dude. He was British, George Washington was. I'm like, dude, okay. It's not going to make me like disgusting British food, though. Everybody's even sensitive here. It's like, I didn't say anything bad. I'm just saying I don't think their victim card is strong enough. I think we should escalate it and say that everyone at CNN should be a black transgender woman. That would get quicker. Like, think about the psychology behind it. If you say Brian Stelter's bad, it's like, yeah, he's bad at his job, but whatever. You know, Anderson Cooper lies a lot. No one cares on the left. If you started like, get the people who watch CNN to be like, wouldn't it be better if there were just black transgender women everywhere and there wasn't a single, light-skinned man, and they're like, yeah, and then the whole thing, and then like they can't fight that because, they can fight right-wing easily. Like, oh, right-wingers are corrupt, and everyone's like, January 6th, Donald Trump. But if you just join them and you're like, no, it's not enough, and then they're like, yeah. The next thing you know, it's like, see it like you're gonna have Brian Stelter like resigning. He's like, I'm so sorry I ever existed. I should have given up my job to a black transgender woman years ago. I don't know why. And like, and I'll be just sitting there like, ha ha ha. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. Someone said a good moisturizer is better than Botox. I don't know. I don't know why someone thinks I know about Botox, but I appreciate it. I think people respect my news analysis, so they're like, "Hey, I wish cover it." I get it, but I'm not trying to like weigh in on health stuff like that right now. Who broke the Georgia Guidestones? I don't know. The Elbert County Police are investigating. I don't think they found anybody yet, but somebody did explode. The report said that there were explosives and they destroyed one of the stones or something. Do my Seth Rogen impression again? I don't want to, because if I do my Seth Rogen impression, people will be like, oh my God, Jesus was Jewish. I'm like, yeah, I'm not making fun of all people, just Seth Rogen. People get so mad. They're like, oh, you think it's funny to make fun of Seth Rogen? Jesus was a Jew too. And I'm like, did Jesus smoke weed? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I don't know history like that. Did Jesus smoketh the herb? Probably not, but Seth Rogen does. I can't have fun anymore. Everybody's mad at me now. I try to make a joke about escalating the left-wing social agenda, and people are crying. Also, they're like crying about Botox, anti-Semitism. I can't win out here. Someone said Buddha was a Mexican. This is just getting confusing. But I'm enjoying myself. I don't remember my Seth Rogen impression. Oh, yeah, I don't know. It's like, crime is good. He's like, oh, who cares? I got robbed 50 times, but I'm smoking on Purple Herbal. It's like, cool, dude. Wow. He's like, what's the point of living in a city if you don't get your car robbed? It's like, whatever, cool guy. Someone said Joe Biden is Chinese. He's not Chinese. He just works for him. Am I right? Ba-doonts, What was Hunter Biden doing in Ukraine? Who cares? Because Ellen DeGeneres is live with George Bush. We're getting along, folks. Liz Cheney. George Bush drawing pictures. He's like, oh, yeah, I'm drawing a picture of me in a bath. And Ellen's like, don't think about the Las Vegas shooting again. I wrapped that one up, didn't I, folks? Am I right? And everyone's like, yeah, I'm going to wear a mask on my face to fight the virus. And I'm like, are people really this dumb? Maybe. Whatever. It's like next on MSNBC, we have Joe Biden, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the very Hispanic woman, Obama, George Bush, the Bush family, the Obamas, and the Cheneys are going to fight climate change. Like, cool. Would I come on your podcast, Politics Plus podcast? Maybe. I don't know. Hold on. I got to try to find... There was another super chat. I think I missed it. Sorry. Let me scroll up. I think I missed a super chat. Sorry, guys. I suck at this. I do it all myself. I have no help. Sorry about that. Do my Mark Levin impression, please. No, I'm going to get banned off the internet. It's going to be hate speech. He's like, oh, I'm a patriot. Give your money to Ukraine or you're not a patriot. And it's like, oh, my God. And then... I do a Mark Levin impression, someone's going to be like, anomaly, Jesus was Jew. I'm like, I know. I'm not saying everybody's Seth Rogen. I'm just saying it's funny to make a joke about it. And I'm not going to stoop to people's level and be like, oh, I'm not racist. I have friends. It's like, yeah, we get it. Everybody has, I can't I can't be racist against Mexicans. Yeah, I might want to build a wall, but I love Taco Bell. So, I mean, you think I hate Mexicans? I eat Diablo sauce at Taco Bell. That's how, I don't, mild. That's for those, racist right wingers. I eat Diablo sauce. It's like, I'm not stooping to that level. Yeah. I'm not anti Semitic. I enjoy bagels a lot. No, I'm just kidding. But it's like, I can't make any jokes anymore. It's fine. I didn't even know how to do this live stream. It's like I'm not under this illusion that I have freedom of speech on Facebook and YouTube. I mean, I pretty much say what I want. I don't lie, but it's like, if I want to say something, I'll tell somebody in person. Nowadays, everybody's recording everything. It's like I'll be honest, but it's like if you dead name Elliot Page on Facebook, that's a violation. Like, okay, so oh my gosh, whatever. Italian food? Yeah, I like it. I'm part Italian. I'm actually part Puerto Rican. I can't be anti-Mexican. I can't be anti-Hispanic because, I can only, if I ever was, I could only be like 80%. 20% of me, 15% of me it's impossible. Although I guess they don't really care because if you're Clarence Thomas, they're like the black face of white supremacy, Larry Elder. It's like, these people just don't stop. I'm just honest about it. I don't actually care what race people are. I care how people act and who they are. I'm honest about it. They're like, we love black people, except for Larry Elder. He's a white supremacist. It's like, nothing you say matters because we get it. You just like left-wingers. That's fine. I get it. Just stop acting like it's about race to them. It's not. They just use race. They use race and they exploit different racial groups to push their agenda. They're like, the only way to save Philadelphia is through climate change. They're literally convincing people that like climate escalation's racist because they're like, there's going to be black people that are going to be affected the most. It's like, yeah, Philadelphia, New York City, some of these inner cities of Detroit. Yeah, it's not gang violence. It's not like the shitty foods that the FDA approves. It's not, that's not a threat to your community. It's the climate. It's the oil company. Like that's the racism now. It's oil's racist, and the only way to stop the racism is to, change the climate. And like people are buying it. They're like, that makes sense. It's like, it's just overwhelmingly dumb. All right. I'm going to keep this one short because it's 57 minutes. I'm going to keep it under an hour. Appreciate you guys so much. I also have, for those, obviously, godblesshats.com. These are the cream-colored ones. I appreciate everybody supporting. I have 0 sponsors. If you notice, I'm not trying to, no offense, but I'm not selling hair cream. I'm not selling VPNs. I'm not selling gold bars, although maybe I should. All I have is the hats, made in the USA, shirts, all good quality stuff. That's all I do. That's all I have. Appreciate y'all. And also, I'm just going to put a few things up there. I have a patreon.com/raretalk. That is if you want extra episodes. If you just can't get enough, calm down. No, I'm just kidding. But, patreon.com/raretalk. This is Dream Rare Podcast. This was a live show. So I have Spotify, Apple, wherever people like to watch. That's cool. And also I have a Telegram. If you go to t.me/DreamRareChat or just Telegram at DreamRareChat, like this one, you can find my stuff, and I go live almost every day unless I'm taking a break for, visiting family, doing work, or, taking a rare vacation. I'm always posting there, so that's the best way to do it. Appreciate y'all. God bless you. Have a wonderful day, and thank you for joining me today. I'll be back tomorrow for sure.